perfectly cooked eggs take 9 minutes. And I do that for the family with a little bit of ketchup, mayonnaise, a dash of water, a good dash of Tabasco in it. You mix it. You have a nice pink, beautiful sauce, kind of cocktail sauce. Put your eggs this way, coat them with the sauce. Beautiful color. You want to put an anchovy fillet on top of it. This way, and that way. And a little garnish of capers and red onion. Incredible dish. A great first course in second, so you'll have more time to spend with your family. I'm Jacques Pépin, and this is fast food my way. Happy cooking.
Production funding for this series has been brought to you by
Cuisinart, with the next generation of food processors. From bread dough to pizza to stir fries, we do the work to save you time. Cuisinart, the next generation.
and by Scharfenberger, makers of fine artisan dark chocolates, recipes available at scharfenberger.com. And by Spectrum Organics, a purveyor of fine culinary oils and condiments. Spectrum, the taste of goodness. And by OXO Good Grips, makers of kitchen tools that make everyday living easier.
I love seafood, and certainly I use a lot of clam and oyster where I am in Connecticut. But you know, when I have to open those large clam, the cherry stone, the quahog, even the top neck, I put them in the freezer like 5-10 minutes to really get them very cold, and they make them much easier to open. Seafood simply prepared is light, and it's some of my favorite food, and usually it's quick to cook too. My Baked Clams Madison takes minutes. Then I'm going to do a cod with an Olive-Tomato Crust, and with a garnish of broccoli bits, and finally mango with a Nutella ice cream sauce. So let's start with opening the clam. So this here, what you do, you place them this way. I use a regular knife for that. Place that against the opening here, and with your hand here, you press that into it. Open. You want to cut the abducting muscle on one side. Break this, and you want to cut it on the other side as well, so that the clam is really free and can slide in your mouth. In any case, as I say, the juice, I have a lot of juice here. We keep them. You can do a cocktail with that, what they call bull eye or something like that we do in Long Island. With the clam juice and vodka, it's very good. So this, while I'm doing the sauce, I'm putting that in the oven, and I put that in an oven about 180 degrees. So it's about the temperature that you warm your plate at, so it's really not very hot, but I want it this way, just to warm up the clam without getting them tough. Then we put the garnish on top and we serve them. Clam can get really tough very fast, much more than oyster or certainly mussel, you know. So here we have little bacon bits I'm going to cook. I have a couple of slices of bacon here for 24 clam. There we go. Should put a dash of olive oil in there. Okay. Start frying this. A bit of onion on top of this, about 1/3 of a cup. Should be fine. Coarsely chopped. Should be more than enough here. Scallion, about the same amount of scallion. 2 scallion, maybe 3 would be more than enough. I like to do those garnish, and this of course can be done ahead. You know, you can have your clam open, you can have your garnish made basically, and serve it at the last moment, of course. So let's see my bacon here. Oh my, I have to go until it becomes nice and crisp. Okay, celery. If I use that celery, I probably would kind of peel the celery of the fibrous skin on top. Okay. All of this, you know, usually I have a bowl in front of me, and that goes into the bowl. Eventually the bowl get into one of the containers I have in the freezer, and those are usually empty half-gallon of milk. When I have a half-gallon of milk, I empty it, rinse it out, keep that in the freezer, and in front of me I will have pieces of celery, the stem of parsley, juice of tomato, pieces of garlic. I put all of that in there, and when I do a stock, any type of stock, I grab one of those frozen containers, I cut right through with my knife and drop it in the stock pot. So onion, celery, scallion, getting there here, garlic, one, oh, maybe two. Feel like garlic this morning, so. Clean up your knife. Okay. Now my bacon is just right. And I'm going to put that stuff in there. Usually I put it right there. This has to cook for a minute to get just tender. That's what goes on top of my clam. Oh, and mushroom, I forget the mushroom. So here I'll use, maybe, the mushroom will give me moisture in there. Coarsely chopped, slice them. You know, you can always vary, you can omit the mushroom. Sometimes I put leek. I love leek. And I usually have a lot of leek in my garden. Okay, here we are. You know, very often you have a recipe which tells you brown the onion or saute the onion. Don't let them take any color or whatever, or you want to soften it out. See, one of the secrets, what you can do is put a drop of water on top of it, cover it, and you cook that for 1 minute, so the water evaporates, the vegetable get softer and moistened, then you remove this and you saute it until it's dry again. The secret of the chef, you know. Okay. Clean up my table. And I think we're going to be ready, close for the clam. You can keep them about 10 minutes in the oven. Shall I say, just to warm them up, not to toughen them. I leave that up now. Good. I think it's ready. I'm gonna go get the clam. You certainly won't see much different in the color of the clam. Now they're just warm, and that's what you want, the way they toughen. And then we can garnish them on top of it like this. That's it. 24 clams, here 6 clams per person. Be probably more than enough. The garnish on top is pretty warm as well, so it will also warm up the clam. I do actually a clam casino, you know, with a classic piece of bacon on top and the spinach underneath. And I do the same way, you know, I often take them, I mean the oyster casino, I'm sorry. And the oyster casino, I take them out of the shell and I put them on the sauté spinach and I put them in the oven this way, low oven for like 4 or 5 minutes until they are just warm, and then serve them with a nutty butter on top, you know, a melted butter. Okay, I have plenty garnish here. I probably, on top of that, would put a little bit of a good olive oil like this. And here we are, the clam Madison. Madison style. I live in a little town called Madison, Connecticut. So I name it after that town. Here we are. And on top, my baked clam Madison. Only takes a minute or two to do. Okay, now the main course, which is still fish. And with that, I use different type of fish. In that case here, I have cod. I love cod. You know, the texture of cod. And cod is a very, is a good fish for someone who doesn't cook that much fish, because first, it's easy to cook, it's flake, and it stays moist. If you overcook a piece of salmon, if you overcook a piece of tuna, it becomes like a piece of cement, you know. You can overcook scrod or cod, or even catfish, for example, and all that. Those type of fish may break down a little bit, but they still stay moist. So it's a good fish to do if you are not too sure of yourself. So let's put salt and pepper on top of it. Those are fairly thick fillet, as you can see. You have a good, I would say a good 1.25 inches. You know, so the direction that I say in the oven may change slightly depending on the thickness of the fish and certainly how you like your fish. I like my fish slightly undone inside. My wife likes it practically raw inside, you know, so let's put that on a roasting pan. Okay, maybe I should put a dash of oil underneath here to roll it. Okay, just a tiny bit. And the garnish that I'm going to do in there, I have some dry tomato here in oil, and those are pretty soft. Some of them may be drier than that. So look at it, I have black olives. I'm going to put some Parmesan cheese here. Nice piece of Parmesan cheese, and I'm going to crumble it on top. You can use, of course, shredded cheese or grated cheese rather. Okay. The idea to start and stop, without the idea if you start and let it go, the bottom may turn into a paste, you know, and the top stay like this. So when you start, it gives a chance to the bottom to tumble into the mixture, you know, so that it's done all over. So here we are. I want to put a nice crust of this on top. You can probably realize that this is a pretty assertive type of mixture with a lot of taste. Here we are. Another one here. You know, I have done that in a skillet, for that matter, and cooked them in a non-stick skillet, stuffed side down. You know, the stuffed side down is perfectly fine. I have pieces of cheese here. Another piece here. And it's good, you know, as I say in the skillet too, it doesn't burn. The crust become kind of a bit tougher and nice black, and it's a great way of doing it too. So that will go into the broiler. And I put it on top here. It's about 4 or 5 inches from the source of heat. So it's pretty hot. So you check it occasionally. It should take about 4 or 5 minutes depending on the thickness of your fish. And I think now we're going to do a garnish with that of broccoli. So the broccoli here, I use of course the tip of the broccoli that I cut into 2-3 inches pieces, like that. But in a sense, what I like the best is probably the stem. But the stem has to be peeled, and sometimes it comes out like that. You take the part of it and you can see this is a very thick fibrous stuff. If you leave that in, you cannot eat it. But if you take it out, this is the best part of the broccoli. I'm going to put a bit of water here. This is hot. Here we are. I'm going to put this direct in there. It's totally peeled now. You cut that into pieces and that's really nice and tender. I mean, that's the best part, as I say, of the broccoli. Okay. I think I have enough water. I need some salt in this. Very straightforward recipe here. Pepper, freshly ground pepper, and some olive oil. Cover it and cook it, well, 2-3 minutes until it's just tender but still a bit crunchy. Okay, let's check the fish. Whoop. It's getting brown, maybe a bit too brown. It's about ready now. If it's not quite ready, I put it in a lower part of the oven. I don't want it to brown more on top, and it will be finishing cooking this way without burning on top. Let me check on those. You can see there is no more water left here. See, the water is used as a carrier here. There is many times we do that in cooking. You want to saute something, a little bit of water give you the moisture, and the water evaporate, then you let it glaze a little bit. You can see this is just a bit tender now. I think it's cooked enough. If you like it nice and crunchy. Good. I'm going to let it cook another minute or so without the lid, and I'm going to get the fish. Okay. All right. Now the fish, I can go now and practically go through just with a slight resistance in the center. I mean, it's still slightly underneath in the center, which is the way I like it. You can hear this one. You don't even have to look at it. You can hear it sizzling. And you know there is no more moisture, so it's ready. Nice bright green and ready. Here we are. And then the fish. The cod is, see, that cod is quite thick here. I put a piece of aluminum foil, as you see on the board, and that makes my wife really happy. Here we are. I think we need a little trickle of maybe olive oil again on top and around. Maybe a few leaves of parsley for color here. Whole parsley like this, it's fine. And that very simple, fresh curd, the curd in olive and tomato crust. In fact, I'm going to open a piece, show it to you. You can see that the center here is just barely the way it should be. And I go a mango in Nutella sauce. You know what I use? Jam, or in that case Nutella. I put that in the microwave oven for a minute or so just to get it nice and smooth. What I have here, I have an ice cream. I have about a cup of ice cream, which is almost totally defrosted, and I mix it with Nutella. We do an ice cream like this, praliné we call it in France, which is really the ice cream, which is inside you do a pralin, and the pralin is really a mixture of hazelnut roasted and mixed with chocolate, you know. So that's a bit of the same idea. So that makes a wonderful sauce, and you don't tell anyone that you made it that fast. Good stuff. So we're gonna do a fruit with it. So you see here, this is the long way. So you try to cut, the pit is in that direction. So you try to cut alongside the pit. So you come this way, see the pit is here, and you do the same thing on the other side. And then we empty it with a fork, with a spoon rather. One here, like that, per person is more than enough of all of that depends on the quality of your fruit, you know, whether it's ripe or not. And here I have this. I'm going to put some of the sauce in the bottom here. You could have raspberry on top of it. Doesn't have to be mango. And my mango here doesn't want to get together. Here it is, it's sliced. Maybe a little piece of pound cake around. I always like to have a cookie or a piece of pound cake. And maybe for a bit of color, I have some lavender here. That would be nice on top of it too. And here we are, the mango in Nutella sauce. I have two pretty assertive white wine which would go well with my menu today, even though often now we drink red wine with fish, and certainly it could go with that one with the olive. I have a Greco di Tufo here from Italy, and it's pretty deep, intense, and then a Sauvignon Blanc from Australia, which is very citrony and grassy, and I think I'll go with this one. And certainly with the clam, it'd be absolutely delicious, the Baked Clams Madison here. Now the curd with that crust, which is very assertive with cheese on top and black olive. Of course, the tidbit of broccoli sauté and the Nutella dish. This is what I'm going to taste first. And goes well with it. As Voltaire said, can you imagine how dreadful it would be if you had to eat 3 times a day, and if God had not made it a pleasure as well as a necessity? I'll drink to that. Happy cooking.
Visit our website at kqed.org/morefastfoodmyway to learn more about Jacques Pépin. You can watch shows online, view extra clips of Jacques in the kitchen, print selected recipes from the series, and meet some of the people behind the scenes. Call 1-800-937-5387 or log on to channel9store.com to order the book with over 100 recipes and color photographs for $32 plus shipping, or to order the complete series of all 26 shows on DVD for $39.99 plus shipping. Production funding for this series has been brought to you by
Cuisinart, with the next generation of food processors. From bread dough to pizza to stir fries, we do the work to save you time. Cuisinart, the next generation.
And by Scharfenberger, makers of fine artisan dark chocolates, recipes available at scharfenberger.com. And by Spectrum Organics, a purveyor of fine culinary oils and condiments. Spectrum, the taste of goodness. And by OXO Good Grips, makers of kitchen tools that make everyday living easier.
A KQED television production.